Here's where it gets interesting, though, for the Patriots. Because there's another name that's being thrown into the trade block here. One that no one expected. Makes some sense from his team's perspective because of the hell they've put themselves in. But if Micah Parsons is actually available, I think there's no doubt you would trade the number 4 overall pick for him. Like, no doubt. He's probably the best defensive player in football, if not right there in the top 3. You know, you want to still say Myles Garrett, sure. Defensive player of the year last year, could have won it again this year. You want to say TJ Watt, probably obviously a lot less left in the tank than Micah Parsons, but sure, he's earned that kind of right. But for my money, Micah Parsons is right there. I mean, you want to talk about just a game wrecker. He is a game massacrer, a game murderer, okay? He will blow up any game plan, and he has done for years now. I love Abdul Carter. I love being able to get him at 4 if you can, who is kind of, quote unquote, the next Micah Parsons. And we've talked about it on this show, kind of the way he relates to him in his game. But we say this with prospects all the time. Like, you're hoping Abdul Carter becomes Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. And he's what, 24? Like, that is no doubt to me. Like, he's the best defensive player kind of all told in football. Maybe not, he didn't win defensive player of the year, but he is, for my money, the best defensive player in football. And you want to talk about an alpha, a marketable star, a guy you just put in there, and he is the face of your, at least, defense. This is the dude. And what some people are calling a down season, by the way, he's 25. He's going to turn 26 this year. So I got that wrong. He's born the same day Manchester United won their treble. I won't hold that against him. He still had 12 sacks this year and a couple forced fumbles. And what was kind of a down year, I say a down year, not that he was bad, but he got more attention than anyone than he ever has, right? But this is a guy who's double-digit sacks every year he's been in the league. 13, 13 and a half, 14, 12. Forces fumbles, wreaks havoc, good in run support. Like, the dude is a menace, an absolute menace. This is the only season this year that he didn't go over 60 tackles, and it's because he played in 13 games. He very rarely misses time. The only knock against him is he's got a podcast. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did a lot of Cowboys coverage working in Central Texas this past football season. It got kind of weird that the team was spiraling out of control and he was doing a podcast about it every week. But, like, that's what you're going to hold the guy back for? He's not a locker room cancer. He doesn't seem to be a big issue. His family, well, yeah, they can be a little vocal. But if that's the only knock against Micah Parsons, I would absolutely trade the number 4 pick in the draft for him. No question. If you are the Patriots, you are chasing every position but quarterback. You need foundational pieces. And sure, there are ways to get that in the top 5 picks of the NFL draft. But this guy is already one. And the Cowboys, it's not that stunning when you really think about it because they have put themselves in a hell of a bind here. Like, really looking down the barrel when they signed Dak Prescott to the richest contract a quarterback has ever gotten this past year. And they felt like they had to. They were backed in a corner. It was the great NFL fallacy, right? Of, is he a great quarterback who's going to win you Super Bowls? Probably not. I think he's shown you as much. But he's just good enough. You can't quit on him. Because you know the premium that position comes with. And the Cowboys have been in that limbo for now close to 20 years between Romo and Dak. But you pay him, as the richest quarterback in football, CeeDee Lamb, the second richest wide receiver in football. You're paying Micah Parsons too. That's not how the salary cap works. You can't make all 3 the top 2 highest paid at their position. You can't do it. And the most valuable trade asset they have is Micah Parsons. And maybe, just maybe, the most valuable, actually viable trade chip in all of the National Football League. a stud defensive end or linebacker, a pass rusher, who is just about to enter into his prime, who you can play all 4 downs. He's probably the best defensive player in the league. So I know there are other rumors floating around about like A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf or even Myles Garrett. I mean, I don't think it's the craziest offer to think about the number 4 pick for Myles Garrett. But if you're comparing these one-on-one, like let's just say they're both available and obviously they would both take that pick. I'm talking about the Cowboys and the Browns with Parsons and Garrett. Let's just say all things being equal, they'll both take that number 4 pick for their pass rusher. One is 29 and the other is 26. Easy math. Like easy math there. And I really like Myles Garrett. He's a guy who actually doesn't come with a headache unless your name is Mason Rudolph. And he seems like just a really good example and good leader, but his team is a mess. I don't know what the leadership skills are of Micah Parsons because, you know, he doesn't need to necessarily be a huge leader on that team, but there's no headache, it seems. He's the best trade chip that anyone has in the whole league. If I were the Patriots, I would do that in a second. In a second, I would trade that number 4 pick for Micah Parsons, especially the environment that it is now. With all the rumors you're hearing about these other teams drafting ahead of you, I doubt Travis Hunter is going to be there. And there's a real world where Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are both not there. And then what are you doing? Ted McMillan? Will Campbell, a guy who might be a guard? Kelvin Banks? Good player. Good tackle. But you're talking about a guy who might go at 8 or 9, and you're taking him at 4. That's a big difference in the top 10. So you can get the pass rusher from Michigan. But there's no option anywhere in the draft like Micah Parsons. I would trade maybe the number 1 pick in the draft for Micah Parsons. So if you're the Cowboys, who have drafted well for the most part the last decade here, that's what makes this story about them so fascinating, why they can't get over the hump / sucked this year, is that they have drafted well. They have gotten good value out of their drafts. And if you trust your scouting department, Jera, why don't you go and get that number 4 pick and not hit the complete reset button here, which is what you're on the peak of doing anyway. If that is a viable option, a real option on the table, and the Cowboys aren't just bluffing, I would absolutely throw the 4th pick in the draft for him if I'm the Patriots, no doubt. And figure out the rest. You know, obviously that'll be part of your free agency. You'll want to extend him, and then go out and get Cooper Kupp and whatever. Maybe you're able to swing some deals and get another pick in the first round, and then maybe you draft Will Campbell in the teens. There's a world where that happens, where you send a couple extra picks to Dallas and get their first round pick. And you switch with them. I think that would be the perfect scenario. And as tough as the Cowboys are in terms of an organization, will they get bluffed into doing that? That remains to be seen. But to me, that's a win-win for both teams. As much of a win-win as it can be for a team that's trading Micah Parsons, right? Like, I'm not saying, oh yeah, big victory, you traded Micah. But if they're really staring down the barrel here, that's an option, that becomes, I think, a big-time win-win for you. You can get the number 4 pick. You can dramatically improve your first-round pick, probably get another good pick somewhere in there, maybe a 2 or a couple of 2s later on. And you start this rebuild without really resetting and trying to get some impact guys in there right now who can coexist with your richest quarterback in the league and second richest wide receiver in the league, coexist contract-wise. And the Patriots get the best defensive player in the league. And they start winning Super Bowls again. At least that's how I see it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I think this is a no-brainer if you're the Patriots. If Micah Parsons is actually on the trading block, that becomes the question. That becomes the real question. Be sure to like and subscribe on the video. We're live at high noon Eastern time every day, bringing you fresh Boston sports takes and news every weekday, high noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.